Hello, my name is Amy. I'm here at Kairos Studios. Thanks for joining me today for this 10-minute runner's warm-up Pilates style. So let's get started. I'm going to come into a kneeling position. Send one foot forward. I've got my left foot in front in my lunge here, my kneeling lunge. My arms are long by my side. Pull the abdominals in. Lift the spine out of the pelvis. Reach the arms up by the ears as you glide that left knee forward over the top of the left foot. Hold here. Make sure you feel the stretch in the front of the hip flexor, and then deepen that stretch by pulling your left hip back towards your right foot. We want to square off that pelvis. Float the hips back, arms down. We'll do one more, and then switch sides. We're moving our arms up, but not crunching the shoulders to the ears. Press your right knee down and drag it isometrically forward to deepen that quad and hip flexor stretch. Float the arms down, return the hips to their start position. Let's come to a kneeling stance and switch to the other side. Right foot is forward, top of that left foot is back. We're setting ourselves up so that we're in this nice 90-degree bend at that front knee and hip. Arms are alongside, all right? We're making sure that this left hip is reaching forward. Float the arms up by the ears, glide that right knee forward over the top of that right foot. Find lift in the front of the body. Oftentimes when I see people running, and I catch myself doing this, let's release the arms and slide back to our start position. I notice people are hunched over. Oftentimes we're trying not to trip, right? We don't want to hit that pothole or that odd broken sidewalk that can cause us to fall and sideline our running altogether. But posture is a super important part of our running, right? So let's come back onto our knees. We've sort of warmed up that hip flexor stretch here. Let's come into a plank position. All right, so we're going to work on our posture here, but we're also going to stretch that lower half of the body. So coming into plank, all right, pressing those arms and hands down into the mat. Shoulder blades are down the back and the neck is long. Now let's focus on that hamstring and calf stretch. So reach those heels away from the body. Keep pressing them back. Soften the knees just enough to make sure you're not hyperextending them. We're going to hold here. If you need to take a single knee and stretch opposite sides, feel free to do so. If you can hold this plank, we're warming up that core and the back muscles so that we have better posture while we're running. Come to your knees, rest for a second, then we're going to go back up into our plank position. Set your foundation up, and we're going to do what I'm calling single leg plank jacks. We're going to bring one leg, I've got my left leg, I'm tapping it outside of my mat, bringing it back in, and I'm switching. The whole time I've got my core pulling in, right? So that I'm feeling like I'm stable in the torso. And then I'm feeling this work, this lateral work in the legs and hips. Now this is important because these muscles are going to help support our run. All right? We can't just rely on the quads, can't just rely on those hip flexors. One more, left, center, right, center, lower the knees, and rest. Okay, let's do some stretching and hip opening. So I'm sending my left knee, it's in a bent position, and my right leg is in front. It is parallel to the front of my mat. That right arch is gonna nestle right on top of my left knee here, okay? And I'm trying to sit up. I'm trying to use my right hip here to press it down to lift my spine and waist up. Again, good posture, right? All right, now I'm gonna take my left hand. So grab a hold of the outside of your left shin. Make sure this left shoulder is pulling down. Gently pull into the shin with the hand. Then float your right arm up to your ear. Find length here in that right side of the waist, and then arc over to the left. Don't let this left side of the waist here collapse, right? We want to stay lifted. You'll feel a stretch in the side of the hip. This is a really important area to stretch and maintain for our running. You'll know after you run, you feel that tightness in the hips and everything. Well, this is gonna help. And then we're gonna float the arms, both of them, out to a T, reaching them to the sides of the mat. Twist your torso to the right. Keep that posture upright. Untwist, clasp that left hand back onto the shin and arch over one more time. If you want to take a little bit of a spiral in the rib cage, I'm spiraling my ribs open, away from my legs. I can feel a deeper stretch here. Untwist, come back to center, float the arms out to a T, and take one more twist. Untwist. Let's take our hands, place them along the back edges of our mat. Use your abdominals to switch your leg setup. All right, so now that left leg is in front, shin is in line with the front of the mat, arch to knee. And we're gonna take a hold of that right shin, pull in and lift that left arm up, find the length in the side of the left waist and arc over to your right. So to deepen these types of stretches, whether you're doing this or any stretch, you want to find opposition. You want to press that left hip down, right? I'm pressing this guy down as I lift and reach this side of my waist. Small little things that can make a difference. Arms will rise to a T. We twist to the left. We untwist, we catch that shin, we arc over once again. Maybe take that spiral, spiraling open to the left. Feeling a deeper stretch in the front ribs, the front of those abdominals. Return to center, float the arms to a T. One more twist to the left side. And untwist, float those arms down. All right, let's lay down on our backs. Let's do a little bit of abdominal work. Hands behind the head, fingertips are wide. Knees are in towards the ribs. Let's straighten those legs up. Press them together and lower them down just a few inches. We're just gonna cross the legs, fluttering them, all right? So we're pulling the abdominals in towards the mat, and we are dynamically fluttering those legs, crisping and crossing them on top of one another. So inner thighs are working here. Abdominals are stabilizing the pelvis. All things that we need to do when we're running. 3, 2, 1, pull the knees in, lower the head and rest. The arms are gonna reach alongside the body. The feet are going to go out into a wide squat-like position. So toes are out at an angle, maybe a 1 o'clock and, an 11 o'clock and a 1 o'clock position. And then make sure your heels are close enough to your hips so that you can have a nice bridge pose here where you feel a stretch in the insides of the hip flexors. The glutes will engage and lift. The arms are pressing down into the mat. We find length in the neck. And I'm going to keep sending my hips, my hip points, my pelvis up, feeling the stretch. Press down into the heels a little bit more. Squeeze the glutes a little bit more. And then just hold. We're going to tap our hips for 1 and squeeze and lift up. Tap the hips down for 2, squeeze and lift up. Don't let those knees move. Tap and lift. Keep the knees where they are. Hold here. And then roll the spine down. Top of the spine, middle of the spine, low spine. Hug your knees into your chest. Rock side to side. Let's work our posture just for a quick minute here. We're going to do a cobra pose here. Arms are wide at the front corners of your mats. Lift your chest. Press the pubic bone down into the mats. Press the tops of the thighs and feet down. And then just lift the chest. Maybe for some of you, your arms are resting, the forearms are resting on the mat, and that's fine. But be mindful of what your chest is doing when you run. See if you can keep openness and broadness in the collarbones. Stretch those pecs here one more time. Squeeze the glutes to protect your low back. And then lower yourself down. Let's press ourselves back to a child's pose, sending our heels and our hips towards one another. My knees are nice and wide so I can get a deep stretch in that sacrum here. And then you can do whatever you want with your head and your arms. Shake your hips side to side. Our last piece of work here, we're going to stand on our knees. Tops of the feet are resting on the mat. take the hands, place them on the low back here, fingertips pointing down, thumbs are hugging the outsides of the pelvis. Roll the shoulders down the body. Let's just stretch our thighs. Squeeze the glutes. Send your chest and pelvis forward, and then rise back up. So don't take this into the low back. We want to stay like we are one solid board here. And rise up. Our last one. And you will be ready to go on your run. I'm going to have a seat. I want to thank you for joining me once again. My name is Amy here at Kairos Studios. I hope you have a wonderful run and a great rest of your day. Check back for more content soon. Thanks. Bye-bye.